So hey, it's the Monday after the race. I don't think we got any good material from the race itself, so I have to like recap after the fact. But I think this is a good opportunity to do that because we are about to go onto a floating sauna. I think actually the sauna is like this little island behind me, like there, and there's a little floating thingy in front of it. That's the sauna that we're going to. So they're waiting for me at the boat that will take us there, and I'll tell you more about the race once we get over there. So there goes our boat ride, and we are on the floating sauna here in the middle of the river. So yeah, I'll show you the sauna in a minute, but maybe I'll just get into the race a little bit. So I didn't really have much of a plan for the race. My plan was basically to eat and run, and then I thought that like podium could be a possibility, and I thought that like 20 hours could be possible. That was based on nothing. I didn't really do any math to see actually how that would work out, and then I would have been like very happy with like top 10, but I wasn't really thinking about that. The main goal was to really have this adventure in Lapland and kind of see what it's all about and all that. So that's how the race was really set up. But I was feeling pretty well prepared, and I've done kind of the training to try to minimize the suffering that usually happens in these things. And I wasn't really training to compete or perform, but really just to be ready to do something like that. So yeah, that was how the setup was, and I'll tell you how it played out in just a minute. But let me show you the sauna first. So we're like I don't know, 5 minutes away from Rovaniemi, the big city in Lapland, and this sauna is on a floating platform. So during the summer it floats in the river, and during the winter they put it on the ice and they tow it to some places, and people then come here and stay. So there's a barbecue, nice little area for eating, there's a cooler, and there's very cool people like Michelle here.
Hello.
That's okay, that's Mika, our son, and this is and where the sauna is. So yeah, nice, it's wood burning fireplace or stove or kiwas, and you know, good sized sauna for 4 people. So it's not on yet, so we are just getting started here. It looks like a great place for swimming, and there's of course a stand-up paddleboard here that we can also use. So yeah, looks great for some post-run recovery stuff. And speaking of recovery, everything is going pretty well. I think the worst thing is really my toes, so they got really pretty messed up. They were already quite messed up before the race, but you might not wanna see this. But yeah, the big toe is this toenail is completely off. This toenail, which like barely was a toenail before the race, is also just one big blister. This is just one big blister all around around that. But yeah, they're not really that painful. Of course, my toes are also very dirty now. But yeah, that was kind of holding me back a bit in the race. Toes were really hurting quite a lot. So, but other than that, no, things are going well. The worst part is over. It's just some sore muscles a little bit, but yeah, able to walk around pretty well, and sleeping well and eating well, and all that is all good. So maybe a bit more about how the race then went. So in the beginning it was like, I don't know, five guys or so running together. The eventual winner was kind of leading the pack, and he was going at a pace where it was very easy to see that there's no no reason to try to even follow him. There was another guy, Tommy, that went after him, and then I was, in third, fourth place, running with this other guy. We had a nice chat there in the beginning, and then he basically took off into the first climb pretty hard, and my intent at that point was really not to really worry about anybody else, but I did want to stay in some good company if possible, and because that helps, you don't have to pay so much attention to things when you're running with other people. It's also a bit more fun. So there's some benefit to trying to stick with him, but not enough to take any risks to go too fast at the beginning. So I just let him go. But I felt like he might be going a bit fast for his first 100-miler and all of that. So I was like sticking with my plan, and ended up, by myself by, I don't know, kilometer 15, and then getting to the first aid station, all good. I was really completely alone at that point. I heard there already at kilometer 32 that the lead pack, the lead two guys were already like 30 minutes ahead or something like that, and that felt like a lot. But didn't really matter so much. I was just taking care of myself at that point. And already from kilometer 20 in the first downhills, my left ankle was hurting. It's been hurting all year. I kind of rolled it a couple of times earlier in the year. It didn't properly heal, and this course just exposed the weakness like immediately. So already in kilometer 20 I wasn't sure if it was gonna hold up the full race and if I was actually gonna be finished on it, because every single step hurts. But then once we started climbing to Pallas, I realized that, well, actually the ankle doesn't hurt going uphill, and then later on the pain kind of I got used to it. It wasn't so bad anymore, but it was still kind of holding me back a little bit. I had some nice interactions there before Pallas. There was this Swedish guy who caught me. It was a bit of a surprise that he was suddenly behind me, and I traded a few words with him. He said that he was thirsty, and I usually like overthink and play mind games in races with people. So there were two really signals that I was going to beat this guy. So first one is that when you pass somebody, you normally want to pass them with authority, and you just want to go. And this guy let me stick with him. So I was just running behind him for a bit of time, which again allowed me to conserve energy. And I could see that he wasn't really able to pull away. I think he probably thought that he was gonna just pull away from me, but that didn't happen. And then the other thing was that he mentioned that he was thirsty, and I knew that there was still 1.5 hours to the next aid. And I told him that maybe in the next little valley there's a stream, because I was also running out of water. And there was a stream, and I stopped to get some water from the stream, and this guy just kept going, and I felt like that was maybe a mistake. So those two signals just already told me that, well, this guy might not be much of a problem after all. So I caught quickly back to him, and then in the climb to Pallas I gave him some kind of nice advice and just pulled away at that point. And I never look back when I pass somebody. I'm just gonna go and not look back, and I kind of knew that he's not gonna follow, and at that point I started feeling pretty good actually on that climb to Pallas. And then just before the aid I saw my good friend Jussi Nokelainen, who is actually one of my running idols. He's a great guy running downhill. So he was there waiting for me. We ran together for a couple of kilometers, had a nice chat. And I told him that don't worry about the Swedish guy behind me, he's not going to be a problem. And I got a nice race update from him about what's happening in the front. He told me that the guy right in front of me was thinking of quitting the race at that point because of some energy issues or whatever. So when I arrived at 8, they did announce that I'm in third place at that point, which was a slight surprise, I guess. But yeah, that 8 went really well. Had some soup and kind of changed the bottles and all the usual stuff. And that was really when I was feeling the best in the full race. Jussi gave me some good advice, just like run smart. I'm in a good position to to capitalize on that. He did warn me about the guy in the seconds. There were actually 2 starting groups because the bus broke down, so they couldn't start everybody at the same time. So there was one other group that started 30 minutes after us. So he did say that in that group there's a guy that is catching up and like winning time, and that he's going to be in the race for the podium. And but yeah, I kept going, and I really struggled in the technical forest trails. There were like tens of kilometers of like super rocky, technical, twisty stuff going through the swamps and all of that. Just had to be super patient there. So I was just listening to podcasts and trying to get through all of that, but it was really hurting. My ankle, my toes were completely smashed, but I was still doing pretty well, and everything was kind of easy until 100k plus or something like this. But yeah, there was then another interaction then. So this guy that started behind me, he caught up to me. Again, like by surprise, there was suddenly a guy behind me. I didn't know that I got some updates along the way. I didn't know that there's somebody behind me. And then he passed me the way that you're supposed to pass people. So he was just gone very quickly. We did have a little chat there. So I realized that he's from the second group and all of that. And I thought that I will never see that guy again. But then by some surprise to myself, I did catch up to him again a little bit after that, when there was a bit more of a runnable section. He seemed to be struggling at that point a little bit, and I passed him, and then tried to build a bit of a lead, because I knew that for me to beat him, I would have to beat him by 30 minutes to actually get the position. So I got like a little bit, I pulled away a little bit, but then he got back to me. And yeah, we started talking more and more, and it was nice to have some company. But I still wanted to kind of see if there's a way to beat this guy somehow. So there was another moment then after another aid station that we did together, where after that he, on a flat, like super fast runnable section, he was walking, and I was feeling pretty strong. And then I realized, well, that might be my window to strike and see if I can actually get a position there. So I just like put in a pretty good effort to build a bit of a gap, and I tried to kind of get that 30 minutes that I needed. And if he had continued walking for longer and I was like running really well, then maybe 30 minutes at that point of the race was still almost nothing. So in theory it was all doable. But yeah, this guy seemed strong, seemed to be doing all the right things and all of that. But yeah, I had no idea whether I was like how much of a gap I was building or anything like that. But yeah, I lost him for maybe 2-3 hours or something like that. And then after some, again, more difficult sections for me, he was suddenly behind me again. And at that point, maybe we were 120k in or something like that. At that point, I kind of knew that there was no way that I'm gonna beat him, and kind of seriously stop trying at that point, and just wanted to get to the finish. And it was nice to have the company. So the rest of the race, we were just yo-yoing with each other, passing each other every now and then, and talking and kind of suffering together. And we were both complaining about things. It was really nice to have him, have some company from him, especially once we got to Ylläs, the last kind of couple of bigger climbs. I was really low on energy in the climb to Ylläs. I really had a rough time, but he was having just as bad time as I was. So I was just like recouping, refueling the whole climb to Ylläs, like feeling terrible, but kind of I knew what I needed to do to fix that. So it just took some time to get over it. So once we got to the top of Ylläs, then things started working better again. Yes. And I had a nice like surge at the end, last 10k of the race. Then we're good again. So that was that was good. So yeah, overall, like energy, pacing, all that stuff worked really well. All of that stuff worked really well. So I was happy with that. I was pretty happy with the whole race execution. So all the problem solving worked pretty well. The ankle, couldn't really do much about that. so yeah, I think these races always have some troubles, but I think I did pretty well in managing that. And in the end, yeah, I was fourth. And 20 hours 20 minutes. And what was really weird is that I didn't know about the time until like 2 kilometers before the race. I wasn't paying any attention to the time. So the guy I was running with, Juho, he mentioned that his watch was showing like 1940, like 2 kilometers before the finish. So with a quick math, I knew that I was just a little bit over 20 hours at that point, which was a great surprise because the sun was like up all night, of course, but it really felt like it was noon or something like that when it was really only like 9 a.m. So I was like, I had completely given up on any kind of time goal, and it felt like I was really like being terrible because it was hard and I didn't feel like I was going fast at all. So I was very pleasantly surprised by the time. And the position too, so in the end it was all good. But it was extremely kind of tough. Like I don't know if people at my age are supposed to be doing this kind of hard racing, so it felt pretty bad. And then of course the body gets kind of pretty messed up after that. But yeah, you then quickly recover, and then somehow the human brain just like a couple of days after you kind of forget the pain and kind of start thinking about why not do more of this. Like, but yeah, who knows? Now a couple of days removed from actually having been there, doesn't sound that bad, but I do remember that in the moment there were moments of wondering like why do people keep doing this. But yeah, that's beautiful course. Definitely can recommend it. The midnight sun is awesome because you have just like hours of this perfectly beautiful light, and the fells here, the nature is just amazing. So many reindeer that I didn't really even start counting, but they were everywhere all the time. And yeah, so beautiful nature this time of the year. So I can definitely recommend this race to anybody who's interested in coming to Finland. It was maybe the best organized race I've ever been to. The markings, the service at aid stations, everything was just like top class, awesome stuff from Nuts. These guys are really professional about setting up the races, and yeah, the atmosphere, all the people. There were over 2,000 runners in the event between all the distances. Great atmosphere in the villages, and lots of friends. So like everybody seems to come here for the race. So it was really good to see lots of old faces from my running days here in Finland. And yeah, so that's I think a wrap for my little racing adventure here in Lapland, and we're gonna now enjoy the sauna, and I'll probably see you next time in France, or we'll see. Okay, thanks for watching. See you.